All right, I'm calling this meeting to order. If you could please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. The first order of business is to adopt, I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion to adopt the agenda?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passed 5-0. I need a motion to approve the regular minutes for the April 9, 2024 meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the regular minutes of April 9th.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes. I need a motion now to approve the workshop minutes from April 23, 2024.
Mr. Mayor, go.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the workshop minutes from April 23, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes. Thank you. We have one communication. It's a proclamation that we're going to have from the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary that asked us to, asked a lot of towns around America to do this to promote safe boating for the season. So I'll read the proclamation. For over 100 million Americans, boating continues to be a popular recreational activity. Whereas from coast to coast and everywhere in between, people are taking to the water, enjoying time together, boating, sailing, paddling, and fishing. Whereas during National Safe Boating Week, the U.S. Coast Guard and the National Safe Boating Council, along with the federal, state, and local safe boating partners, encourage all boaters to explore and enjoy America's beautiful waters responsibly. Whereas beginning with the preparation, the Coast Guard estimates that human error accounts for most boating accidents, and life jackets could prevent nearly 75% of boating fatalities. Whereas through basic boating safety procedures, carrying life-saving emergency distress and communication equipment, wearing life jackets, attending to safe boating courses, participating in free boat safety checks, and staying sober when navigating, we can help ensure boaters on America's coastal, inland, and offshore waters stay safe throughout the season. Whereas National Safe Boating Week is observed to bring attention to important life-saving tips for recreational boaters so that they can have a safer, more fun experience out on the water throughout the year. Whereas on average, 650 people each year die in boating-related accidents in the U.S. 75% of these are fatalities caused by drowning, whereas the vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment and not by the boat equipment or environmental factors, and whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today had they worn the life jackets. Therefore, I, John Reddington, do hereby support the goals of the Safe Boating Campaign and proclaim May 18 to 24 of 2024 as National Safe Boating Week in the town of Ocean View by starting a year-round effort to promote safe boating and to ask that our residents practice safe boating habits by always wearing life jackets while boating. So, I'll wear my life jacket.
That's a good idea.
Okay, moving on to the reports, the financial report.
Before you, you have the monthly financial update as of April 30th of 2024. Ending our fiscal year on April 30th, we collected 99.92% of our FY24 taxes, leaving only 3 accounts with prior year taxes due. Also for FY '24, we had 2,715 property owners take advantage of the early payment discount in an amount of $27,772. Our FY '25 tax bills have been processed. They've been available online since May 1st, based on the assessments that we posted on February 15th. They will be postmarked by June 7th, if not earlier, and mailed out to the taxpayers, and they have till July 31st to take advantage of the 1% discount, and August 31st to pay their current year taxes without penalty. Moving on to our balances, our emergency reserve trust fund has a balance of $1,205,890. Our capital replacement trust fund has a balance of $1,289,095. The street repair replacement trust fund, $1,658,685. Our American Rescue Plan Act fund has $266,408. The Emergency Services Enhancement Program, as of the end of April, we had 15 new home construction permits of the 20 that were budgeted for FY '24. We have a balance of $988,858. Transfer taxes, we have gotten reports, so this is as of ending April 30th of 2024. They were 19.5% from new construction, which is 25 new homes. 1.7% from land sales, so 9 pieces of land were sold, and 78.89% from resales, which comes out to be 106 homes. At the end of the fiscal year, we were 134, almost 135,000 above what we had budgeted for FY '24. So we ended up coming in 13.5% above what we had budgeted. Following on pages 3 and 4 is the financial recap, followed by the April analytics. Right now, our annual audit is tentatively scheduled for the week of July 22nd. We've already started working remotely with our auditors, PKS and Company, in an effort to keep our audit on target. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Dawn. I've got a couple of questions.
Sure.
On page 3, the property tax revenue, the adopted budget was $3.3 million, but the actual was $3.2 million. So why did we collect less than we had?
This isn't that we collected, this is revenue that we actually billed, which is very hard. We had actually estimated more new construction homes, than what actually came about. Like we've talked about before, the villas did not happen, which we thought were gonna happen last year. So the new construction, when we billed that in November, was actually less than what we had anticipated, and that's what that difference is.
Okay.
This, of course, is an estimate. When we do our revenue estimates, it's an estimate in January because we don't have our final numbers till February 15th, and then an estimate of what we anticipate for new construction throughout the year.
Okay, thank you. And the other question is police fines and fees. I noticed that there was under budget. Does that mean that we're writing less tickets?
Not necessarily. That means that how it was explained to me, because I also asked during our budget meetings, should we decrease it? Doesn't mean that. It means that maybe the people aren't paying the courts, and if they don't pay the court, the court doesn't pay us. That's how it works. So it's not that less, and it could be, we have less speeders. People know not to speed in Ocean View. But it really all depends on the court fines.
And that's when we look year to year, long term, to try to come up with the budget figure, because we really don't know what it's gonna come in at.
Do we have any recourse for those who don't pay their fines?
No. It's all collected through the court system. Some folks put on payment plans. Oftentimes, like for example, you could have a $1,000 fine, and you could be put on a $25 a month payment plan, and We're not gonna get a check until the court collects the total $1,000, and once that happens, they'll send us, the check. That can take a while.
Right.
So, when, as Dawn indicated too, when we come up with these numbers for budgets, we're using averages over previous years and some just guessing, quite frankly.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Dawn?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just two, Dawn, on the same vein as the mayor. Reimbursable fees, budgeted 113, it's 60. Would that go along with less new construction, or?
Those are fees, I mean, a lot of the reimbursable, and you can get into more than that. If we didn't go out,
Could be for engineering reviews,
engineering reviews.
from our consultants, could be for property, maintenance. We have to send a contractor out to clean up a property, things of that nature from my group.
Okay.
And once we cross over the year, you know, we're just getting started in the new year. It could be that we had quite a few permits come in April, so there may be reimbursable invoices out there, but they're out there right now.
Correct.
So
Okay.
they will show up in FY 25's revenues instead of last year's.
And on the pass-through ambulance, which it is a pass-through, dramatically more than budgeted because of the
Because of the increase.
Right.
I was within $250 with this year
Right.
of what we billed.
Do you know if we had anybody drop off because of the increase?
We did have a few, but not more than normal.
Not more than.
Mm-mm. I was actually kind of surprised.
Very
Yeah, I was delighted that not many people dropped it due to the increase. We had the normal people that don't take it on an annual basis
Right.
call us to refuse the subscription, but not more than
Okay,
normal.
Good. Thank you.
Does the fire company know who doesn't pay?
Yes. On October 1st, we supply the fire department or the ambulance service with a list of everyone who paid, a list of everyone who refused. So either they didn't pay or they actually called us and told us they weren't going to pay, along with a check for the amount that was paid.
Thank you.
And if those homes, of course, have need of an ambulance, they'll get charged a
billed.
higher rate.
Yes.
Catastrophic.
Any other questions for Dawn? If not, then we'll move to the public safety report.
Yes, good afternoon. A couple highlights from last month. 6 responses were recorded in the town of Millville. The volunteer unit logged 237 hours of volunteer service. See if you've got a breakdown on some of our training. Community policing. One of the things I want to point out there is our drug take-back. We had a take-back event on 4/27, and we combined what we had previously taken back through the collection box in the police department lobby. That totaled 549 pounds of unused or unwanted prescription drugs. So all of that gets turned over to the DEA. They take it up to Philadelphia and it gets incinerated. So it's a great way to keep those drugs off the street and out of the environment. Let's see. We had the Bethany Fenwick Chamber of Bike tour on April 27th. That was a big event. We had, I think, 4 officers on for overtime. Had about a little over 2,000 bicyclists that came through the town that Saturday morning. We're very fortunate, no injuries, no traffic-related problems. We had our first Police Accountability Committee meeting. I know some of you were there for that. That went very well. As you know, one of our volunteers, Gail Driver, is the chairwoman of that committee. It includes members from the town of Dewey Beach, South Bethany, Ocean View, and Fenwick Island. It is the first Police Accountability Committee in Sussex County, and I believe they're only the third in the state. Two promotions that took place effective May 1st. Sidney Ballantyne was promoted to the rank of lieutenant, and Brian Caselli was promoted to the rank of Corporal 1. I was planning on having both of them here tonight, but Sid is actually with Nick Harrington. They're down in Texas right now in Houston at a homicide investigators school, and Brian Caselli is in D.C. For Police Week ceremony. Tomorrow's Police Appreciation Day. We will have a small ceremony at 9 o'clock in the morning at Ocean View PD, weather permitting. I think they're calling for rain now. Maybe coffee and refreshments afterwards. Artisans Fair is scheduled for May 25th. The police department will be assisting in that. I'm sure the town manager is going to go over some more upcoming special events, but it seems like we've got one every weekend. But this Artisans Fair, as most of you know in the past, it is a pretty significant event for the town. We had the Family Fit and Fun Day this past Saturday, and we're working hard to make sure those events are staffed appropriately. We also have a copy of all of the crime and enforcement statistics, and I'll be happy to go over any of that information if you have any questions.
Chief, can you convey to the two officers, the town council's congratulations on their promotions?
Both of them well deserved. They've both been long-time employees of the police department, and both doing a great job. Okay. Does the CVS drugstore have a take-back, a drug take-back box? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. They did at one point. I don't know if they got rid of it or not. During COVID, a lot of those went away. So we have two. We have the drug take-back box, and then we also have a syringe disposal box. And both of them are used quite often. In fact, the syringe disposal box in the lobby of the police station, that gets emptied weekly.
Any other questions for the chief?
Mr. Mayor, just two real quick. Chief, looking at the data, business checks for the month of April were down, and actually February, March, and April they're down. They were at its highest peak in January. And then the same thing with the residence check. Pretty steady, January, February, March, but April quite low.
Yeah, both of those. So we have an app that we created, Go Canvas. It's an app on the phone, and that pushes those checks out on the business checks are not done every single week. The residence checks, we've got a lot of people that are coming back. So during the colder months, folks go away, like yourself. They're coming back now, so as they come back, those homes are coming off the list. So you're going to see that number consistently, especially for the residence checks, go down. A lot of the businesses that are closed this time of the year, when we do the business checks, they're actually physically going inside, making contact with the business owners, and we're just getting ready to start opening up again. So you should see those numbers pick up.
Right. So the residence check, just like for me, when I was out of town, is when an officer stopped by and looks at the property, not necessarily checking on the resident of the property, or is that a combination of both?
No, we're checking on the actual property. So we get out, they have to get out, they have to walk around the property. The app has a GPS tool associated with that, so they have to check in while they're on scene. We know that they're on scene because the app tells us that they're there, and they have to walk around and physically inspect the property. In addition to looking for any signs of crime, we're also looking for like broken water pipes, damage from a tree limb, or anything like that. We report that to the homeowner. We actually take a picture of it with the phone, and it places a picture on the app, and that gets automatically emailed to the homeowner.
Thank you very much.
That's a very popular program for us this year.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? If not, we'll move on to planning and zoning and development. Ken?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not a whole lot's changed in the land use and development. However, I believe within the next week or so, we'll probably be issuing the first permits for Silverwoods mixed-use planned community. Ocean View Beach Club continues their build-out with condominiums. Capital improvements, the cottages drainage improvement project, it's been completed, and as I mentioned last month, it was substantially under budget. Woodland and Daisy Avenue sidewalk and drainage project is completed. Final inspection was scheduled for yesterday, and there were no issues. That project also was on budget. Pavement rehabilitation projects, the FY24 patching and paving project's been completed. All streets in the Wedgefield and the cottages communities were milled and overlaid, along with Seahawk Lane and the Canal Village subdivision. This project was also, came in under budget, and we have sufficient funds left over that we are going to add Elliott Avenue on the north side of town at a cost of $46,000. And get it done this year instead of waiting till next year or the following year, and prices may be a little higher then. Code enforcement, we had an issue out at the Silverwoods community. The developer commenced construction in another phase of the development. It was basically cutting trees down in an area where they didn't have any approval to do so. We issued them a stop work order and a fine. And as of today, that area is still closed off until they finish what they needed to do environmentally in the phase that they're working in. The rest of the stuff is other code enforcement, permits and COs, and business and rental licenses. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
So that stop work order at Silverwoods, they're going to cut down the trees as part of the plan, but they did it too soon.
They did it too soon. They only have approval, they only have stormwater approval plans for phase 1B, which is where they're currently working, and they decided to cut trees in phase 1A, and then in phase which is along Beaver Dam Road, it's a multi-family, it's the mixed use, it's a mixed use parcel of land, mixed use development. It's going to be a mix of commercial and residential. There aren't even any plans for that yet, and they were in there cutting trees.
Thank you. Any other questions for Ken?
No. Just one comment. The job they did on Seahawk Lane was just wonderful. And today Caliber Construction was out from, I guess, subcontractor from Jerry's Paving, and just did a wonderful job. Nice people. Jerry's Paving was really nice. I commend you and those companies for the job they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Pass that along.
Tag on to that with Wedgefield too. I had a conversation before the meeting. That's a kind of a little complex way of doing that entire little community there, and a lot of safety things. They follow safety very big time, and had to control a lot of things going on. So I don't think we've used that company before, have we?
No, we haven't, and their work product is very good. The safety component of it was an issue one day, and if you notice, it didn't work for a couple of days over there after they got started, while we had to have some conversations about how we expected them to do that portion of the work.
Well, they listened to your guidance because it was quite safe.
So thank
But
you.
their work is good, so then, getting that done in that community is a
Yeah,
good
their
thing.
work product is very good. Never a question
They
about
come
their
in
work
and
product.
get out. good too.
Jonathan, I guess he's the owner of Caliber Construction, that's the subcontractor.
Yeah.
Very nice, his staff was very nice. Again, thank you, and them, thank them.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah.
Moving on to the town manager's report.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I just gave you some background of our last things that were approved last month, which of course was the FY25 budget. Gave you some highlights of from the budget, what it included. I won't read through it. I'm sure you're all aware, but wanted to make a record of it all. We've had a bunch of different annual seasonal maintenance and startups that have taken place at 201 Central. Duct cleaning, carpet cleaning, fire extinguisher inspections, HVAC, all that kind of stuff that happens this time of year. Believe it or not, we are going to start to begin our work on our 5-year review of our comprehensive plan, which will be submitted, has to be submitted by March of 25. So you'll be hearing more about that in the coming months. We held a reorganization meeting where Councilman Walsh was sworn in, of course. We also held last weekend, speaking of events, police department has really been pushed to support not only our events but all the other events going on in the community in recent weeks, and we certainly appreciate it. Spring Fling went on. We had really questionable weather. We had a good turnout, not a great turnout like I think we would have if the weather was sunny and not just overcast all day with threats of rain. Never happened. We got it all in, and thankful for that. Next event will be the 135th anniversary. We're really working on that. All the fine tuning of things. That will be June 15th. We do have an additional sponsor. I did put a flyer in your packet, but since then we have an additional sponsor from WSFS Bank. We also have Fulton Bank and the Chamber of Commerce. So we're thankful for that. We also have some new, years ago we were trying to think of a way to get more fitness classes in the park. So we've been able to work with Custom Fit 360, and they will be supplying someone to offer classes in accordance with the information on the flyer, 8 o'clock on 2 days a week, and then 2 other days a week they'll be coming free of charge and instructing anybody on how to use our outdoor equipment. That's something I was trying to find somebody for. So we'll hopefully that will be successful, and our community will come out and take advantage of it. Gave you some updates that I think you're familiar with, but about the school resource officer and how we ended the year $4,820 short of our fundraising goal of $40,000. This year we do already have one event for this fiscal year planned for the town as a fundraiser. That will be during one of our classic movies, and the PTO, Lord Baltimore PTO, is also considering additional fundraising efforts. I also want to tell you that Dawn and I were able to identify that we can cover that shortfall for the end of last fiscal year, which ended April 30th, by our receipt of some increased interest on some of our investments. We can cover that. Also have the Public Works information here for the last month, and I'll be happy to answer any questions about anything I skimmed through or anything in general.
Thank you. The summer fitness classes, how are we going to ensure that we get people to come? Are we advertising in the newspaper? Posters out?
We have flyers out. We've been sharing, there's some in the back here. We've been sharing it on social media. It has been entered into the newsletter that will go out with the tax bills at the end of the month. I believe they are putting it in the paper. I'll double check that. Let me think, it's on OVTV. It's on our website. they are also advertising it at their location. So, that's what I'm hopeful that people will read the newsletter and take advantage of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to, we finally were able to kind of put it in place. We've of course had a yoga instructor for 2 summers now, and she's coming back. I just don't have all her dates lined up yet. So, and that's been pretty good. It's early in the morning, it's peaceful, the people have participated like it, the yoga.
Any questions?
Carol, the company redid the bocce ball. They really look nice.
Yes, they came back, they were working with the manufacturer about some of the materials, there was some
Yeah.
bumps. And they had a window and called and said, is it okay if we come today? We'll do one at a time, and they did, and they really look better, and
Yeah.
we've already heard from Special Olympics how much they appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Special
And,
Olympics.
you
was,
can't, Natalie, I'm saying the right name, right?
Yeah.
Natalie.
Yeah.
For a minute, I thought I said the wrong name, which would be horrible. They did that with $70,000 worth of work to build that, and then they were committed to coming back and making sure it was right when we noticed something,
It's
so.
beautiful.
Just can't say enough about
Yeah.
that.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Moving on to the Millville Volunteer Fire Department report. The month of April, they had 224 calls, of which 184 were EMS calls, total for the area, compared to 250 calls last year, so it was down 26 calls. In the town of Ocean View, there were 21 calls in April compared to 42 last year. So, any other comments before we move to citizens' privilege? If not, we are moving to the first citizens' privilege on the pre-published agenda, listed for discussion, consideration, or items subsequently added at any time to the pre-published agenda for discussion, consideration. If anyone chooses to speak at the first citizens' privilege, he or she may not speak on the same topic at the second citizens' privilege. So is there anyone here that wants to ask a question, make a comment? If not, then we're moving on to new business. The first item is discussion, consideration of possible voting on a bank account resolution. Dawn?
Right. In your packet, you have a copy of a resolution from Fulton Bank for a new bank account. During open enrollment, we offered employees an option to join a flexible spending account. I would like to keep those funds separated from our general checking and general money market. So this is the account that WEX would be using for the flexible spending. WEX already provides us with our gas cards that we use, so we're adding on another product to what we already have with them. If you decide to vote to accept my adding this account, I'll be asking for signatures from the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem at the close of the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Dawn?
Just for awareness, this is something that money's taken from anybody who wants to join its pay monthly. And it's just a flexible spending account, pre-taxed for healthcare expenses.
Okay, if there are no questions, then I need a motion to approve setting up a separate bank account at Fulton Bank to include flex spending and gas cards. A motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the corporate resolution, certified copy of the new accounts from Fulton Bank for their flex spending accounts.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Thank you. Next item is discussion, consideration, and possible voting on a recommendation to approve contract for Country Estates Drainage Improvement Plan Phase 2. Ken Semino?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This project, OVPZ&D 2307, is for drainage improvements, Phase 2 of the drainage improvements in Country Estates community. This project has been sitting for about a year. We put it out for advertisement here this spring. Advertisements were solicited. They were placed in the local newspapers and on the town's website. Bid proposals were accepted by the town manager on Tuesday, April the 30th, 2024. This work involves furnishing all labor, materials, transportation, tools, supplies, and equipment necessary to construct drainage improvements along Winchester Drive and North Horseshoe Drive in the Country Estates community. 2 sealed bids were received and opened. The bids were from Adel Construction Incorporated for $324,945.85. It was actually 3 bids. Kinsley Construction for $366,694, and George and Lynch Incorporated for $392,922.20. Our engineer's estimate was for $292,754, with a 10% contingency, bringing that total to $322 plus or minus. Funding is available in for these improvements in the FY24 capital improvement budget in the amount of $434,247,000. Therefore recommended that Mayor and Council authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with Adel Construction Incorporated for the total bid amount of $324,945.85.
Thank you. Any questions for Ken?
No.
If not, then I need a motion to authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with Adel Construction Incorporated for a total bid amount of $324,945.85.
Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with Adel Construction Inc. for the total bid amount of $324,945.85 for Country Estates Drainage Phase 2.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Next item is discussion, consideration, and possible voting on a recommendation on demolition of 8 Oakwood Ave.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you know, the town purchased 8 Oakwood in the fall of '23 with the intent to move or demolish the structure in advance to a planned development of the site as an extension to our existing lot at 6 Oakwood Avenue. The expansion of the existing lot will then allow for future new amenity to be located at the current grass lot situated in the center of our park. It will also allow the town to manage all but our largest events and programs, necessary parking. We received 4 bids for the demolition. One from John Macklin and Son of Lincoln, Delaware, totaling $19,346. East Coast Structural Movers of Harbison, total bid $17,400. Atlantic Demolition of Milton, total bid $28,530. And Walker Construction of Lewis, total bid $15,625. Funds are available from our remaining funds from our Rescue Plan Act, totaling $25,000. It's therefore recommended that Mayor and Council allow me to enter into an agreement with Walker Construction, the lowest responsible bidder, for a total cost of $15,625, including silt fencing, topsoil, and seeding, along with the demolition. I also provided you with 3 notes there. in regards to the first note, the references that I contacted were very highly satisfied with the work that Walker has performed. Also for awareness, the town will handle all the disconnects for utilities, and we will have an asbestos inspection, which is required in advance. And Walker Construction's silt fence, they were the only ones that actually included that, and they're still the lowest one. They've been in business for quite some time.
Any comments or questions?
What is the silt fence?
Silt fence is the black fence that goes around construction sites to keep.
So other people didn't even want to do that, or they weren't,
They didn't even mention it in their bids. I think it's, I mean.
it's a safety issue.
Well, I think we need to be good neighbors.
Yeah.
And make sure, we don't know how quickly we're gonna develop it. We're gonna start working on it if it's approved and once it's done, but, yeah, Ken and I talked about it, and it's important, and you see, they're still the low bidder, but they've done significant amount of work, in and around our area.
Now, can there ever be a problem doing this? In other words, they're gonna give you a bid for 15,625. Can something go wrong and that bid changes?
Yeah, something can always go wrong, but it would be something unforeseen if there, like, say there was an underground tank that we weren't aware of, or, you know, something like that. It's actually a very simple demolition. This company, one of their references, they did some recent work in Rehoboth where it was very tight and in a business area, which of course raises, you know, some more safety concerns.
Good.
I'm sorry, did you have a question?
Just one, there's a basement in there, correct?
No.
There is no basement in
basement.
there?
No.
Okay. So how many days would that take? 1 day, 2 days, 3 days?
I would suspect about 1 day.
Okay,
You may notice some stuff going on in advance.
okay.
Yeah,
So
they usually get in and out pretty quick.
It would be possible then that we could actually use that lot for some parking and things like that, maybe later
Yeah.
on in the summer? and whatnot.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So will we do this before the 135th?
I doubt it. I don't know, I have to get their schedule. We'll have to get their schedule. And I have to, you know, I have to do the asbestos, so I still have to set up that. And, the utilities are not that big a deal, but. I don't know if I can pull that off. Because we have to do things first.
So I was just wondering if it was going to take place during the 135th, in which case it would be, you know, messy looking construction
No, we
site.
won't let that happen. No, we won't let that happen.
Okay, if there are no further questions, we need a motion to authorize the town manager to enter a demolition agreement with Walker Construction at the total cost of $15,625.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the town manager to enter into a demolition agreement with Walker Construction, Inc., the lowest responsible builder at this cost of $15,625, including silt fencing, topsoil, and seeding.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Now we will enter into the second citizen privilege. Does anyone have anything they want to say, comment? No. Okay. So I need a motion to move into executive session to temporarily leave the general meeting and go into executive session.
Motion to enter executive session.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
motion to come out of executive session.
No, it's, we've returned from executive
Right, we're not
session.
gonna need a motion to terminate, to come out of executive session.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
yet.
Yeah,
We'll
you
need a
gotta come
motion
out of,
to come out of executive session and come back into regular session.
I make a motion that we come out of executive session back into regular session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So approved. In the executive session, we had discussed personnel and legal matters, and there is no action to be taken. I now need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So approved, thank you.